Hello and welcome to this Black Talk Radio News Commentary. My name is Scotty Reed. On this particular episode, we want to take a look at some of the comments that this asshole, former tennis player, former pro tennis player, Boris Becker, a German national, had to say about Naomi Osaka dropping out of Wimbledon and dropping out of all the other tournaments and just preparing for the Olympics because she has a mental disorder known as social anxiety, and he just doesn't seem to get it, just like Stephen A. And they've made comments that, hey, these press conferences is why we're able to earn this prize money. And that is a lie. Nobody tunes in to watch press conferences. People tune in to watch matches. And so I'll be sharing some research that I did on this particular topic. Now, I normally don't delve into sports, but this is more than just about sports. This is about mental health. This is about the pressures, not only that pro players have, on their jobs, but ordinary people had these same pressures, especially if they suffer from this type of mental illness of social anxiety. So Boris Becker gave a press conference here lately. He gave a press conference. Let me pull up the press conference. He gave an interview, not a press conference. And as the headline says from marca.com, Boris Becker criticizes Osaka. Where is the effing pressure? So he had to get vulgar with it, right? So he sounds very, very angry, it seems like. So you go down, he says, Boris Becker has criticized Naomi Osaka's decision to withdraw from Wimbledon over mental health struggles caused by taking part in press conference. The decision of Osaka, the world number 2, to pull out of Wimbledon comes after doing the same at the French Open, leading Becker to question her decision. He says, is that really pressure? Of course, he's talking about these press conferences. Becker asked in an interview with the Times, isn't it pressure when you don't have food on the table, when you've got to feed your family and you don't have a job, when you have a life-changing injury, isn't that more pressure? You're 23, you're healthy, you're wealthy, your family is good. Where is the effing pressure? Again, this man, he wants to talk about her health. She doesn't have her physical health, but what about her mental health? Social anxiety is a DSM listed mental illness. Maybe we shouldn't call it a mental illness, but a mental challenge. Okay. And again, I'm just reminded of something somebody else pointed out about all of this was that, in the French Open in France, I don't know about England. They didn't mention England, but they mentioned France and the United States. Naomi Osaka will be protected by the laws for disabilities. Again, if she is seeing someone for this mental health condition, these problems that she's having with social anxiety, then it would seem to me that exceptions will be made based on that medical determination. All right. So, but that he goes on to say something similar to what Stephen A. Smith said, claiming again that these press conferences is what pay for, the prize money. I think the prize money for Wimbledon this year is like $3 million for the top winner. Okay. It looks like, and I'm just going off of a guesstimation from my memory, when I looked at a list of the prizes for all the different winners, the runner-ups, and those who win during the lower seeds, we're probably not even looking at $20 million total. We're not even looking at probably even $15 million total. Okay, but the top winner gets $3 million. So Boris Becker said this. He says, let me see if I can find that. Oh, here it is. If you can't deal with the media, it's very difficult to be a professional tennis player, he says, forthright and firm. The tour is impossible without the press, and it's difficult to make your prize money or money for your sponsors without the media. So I'm going to call BS on this. Now, before I go into what is social anxiety, listen, and I'll share, some more information here in just a bit. But again, these are press conferences. Now, I looked up the website for Wimbledon and their press passes. How do you get a press pass and how much does it cost? Well, I found out how you get a press pass, and it's very limited to it within the industry. Freelancers can't get press passes to Wimbledon. All right. So if they are paying a fee, which I could not find any fees, I did find a United States Press Association where they help you get press passes and what have you. And their annual fee, I think the lowest was like just over $48. And then the highest membership for that organization was 100 and something to be paid annually. This is per year. So I don't imagine that these organizations, these newspapers, these radio stations, these TV stations, and what have you, are paying tens of thousands of dollars for press passes. They just simply not. Okay. Now he wants to mention the sponsors. The sponsors is what pay, pay to sponsor these tournaments and what have you. And I'm sure that's a pretty penny, although I could not find any exact data on what the All England Tennis Club is getting paid by the sponsors. And you got some big name corporations that are sponsoring these events. But the press, no, ain't nobody getting paid off of fees to process press passes. That's just idiotic to even suggest that this is just doing press conferences is how the tennis players make money. No, they don't. No, they don't. All right. So, but let's take a look at a definition of social anxiety, since he wants to clown, he wants to mention, she's free of physical injuries, but what about her mental? Okay. Apparently he's just leaving that out. And didn't she mention that she'd been struggling with depression and from her social anxiety since 2018, I believe? So as you can see, again, it is in the DSM. It is in the DSM. It's also called SAD or SAD or social phobia, a chronic mental health condition in which social interactions cause irrational anxiety. For people with social anxiety disorder, everyday social interactions cause irrational anxiety, fear, self-consciousness, and embarrassment. Symptoms may include excess fear of situations in which one may be judged, worry about embarrassment or humiliation, or concern about offending someone. Talk therapy and antidepressants can help increase confidence and improve ability to interact with others. Okay. So it's a real thing. Boris Becker and Stephen A. Smith. It's a real issue. Stephen A. Smith was clowning himself. He really clowned himself when he was talking about, I saw an episode where Stephen A. Smith was sitting up there comparing social anxiety to him feeling sadness on the anniversary of his mother's death, saying, I didn't want to come to work today. My mama died on this day, but yet I'm here and all that. It's not the same, Stephen A. It's not the same. It's a disorder. It's a mental disorder. What is it about it that you don't understand? Okay. So, these people are tripping, man. They're tripping really hard. And Boris Becker's getting vulgar with it. So as I stated, I did some research. What does it take to get media accreditation? And it says the press accreditation is processed by the press operations manager. Those considered for accreditation to the championship are daily newspapers, evening newspapers, Sunday newspapers, international wire service, and news agencies, specialist tennis sports magazines, specialist tennis sport internet sites, priority is given to those journalists filing daily reports for the fortnight. Their application should be supported in writing by the editor or sports editor of the publication or organization concerned. Now, again, it doesn't give you any information about how much does it cost to process these, applications. And I'm, again, willing to bet, I'm willing to take a guess that it ain't tens of thousands of dollars to get a press pass or to process an application. Okay. Now, I mentioned the sponsors. These are the sponsors for Wimbledon Championships 2021. And some of the biggest names that you'll find in corporate, I guess you would say global corporations. Okay, so it goes on to list, it says, it is undisputed that the championships host an incomparable Grand Slam tournament. However, there's a lot that goes behind the staging of the revered grass court tournament. Above all, it is the sponsors that aggravate the success of Wimbledon year after year. So let's find out who are the official sponsors. So let's see, you got Rolex, a luxury manufacturer of watches. All right, who else do we got? Let me see, Slazenger, okay, the English sports equipment brand. Then you have the Robinson Squash, the crowd's favorite refreshment. Is the official soft drink for Wimbledon 2021. All right, so who else do we got? Evian is the official brand of packaged water at the All England Club. It's mineral water. All right, so it goes on. It says, additionally, Lavazza, Stella Artois, and Sipsmith will be the official coffee, beer, and gin, respectively, at Wimbledon. In 2019, American Express and Oppo became the official payment and smartphone partners. They will continue with the same role in 2021. Famously than most, PMs will remain Wimbledon's official partner this year. The gin-based fruit cup has started to become a part of the tradition of the championships since 2017. Lastly, IBM, Ralph Lauren, HSBC Bank, Jaguar Land Rover are official, IT, outfitter, bank, and car partners of the championship's 13th edition. Most significantly, as part of the tradition, no sponsor banner will appear in the championship course except the Rolex clock. All right, so again, we don't know how much these corporations are paying for these sponsorships. But again, I do not even think that that's the bulk of where the money is coming from, but I'm sure it's a considerable amount more than if any of these news organizations, sporting organizations or publications are paying to process press passes and to get to ask questions of the different tennis players. All right, the bulk of their money is coming from broadcasting contracts with television networks. And now it doesn't mention anything about tennis in this particular Wikipedia entry, but it just to give you an idea of what these networks are paying to broadcast live sports. In the United States, sports are televised on various broadcast networks, national and specialty sports, cable channels, and regional sports networks. U.S. sports rights are estimated to be worth a total of $22.42 billion in 2019, about 44% of the total worldwide sports media market. U.S. networks are willing to pay a significant amount of money for TV sports contracts because it attracts large amounts of viewership. Live sport broadcasts accounted for 44 of the 50 lists of most watched television broadcasts in the United States in 2016. And it goes to talk about NBC holds a $7.775 billion contract it signed in 2014 to air the Olympic Games through 2032. Let me see the broadcast. Also, the broadcast deals of the National NCAA running through 2032. That's a big significant amount of money. Those contracts are worth 8.8 billion in 2018. All right. And so it goes on and on. Let me see, MLB about 6 billion annually from its contracts with Fox, CBS, NBC, ESPN, and DirecTV for the 2014 through 2022 seasons. All right, so let's go to England. Now, this is sporting broadcasting contracts in the United Kingdom. So Wimbledon, in addition to being broadcast by BBC, now I did find out that in England, it has to be broadcast for free on free television. They don't pay, okay? But they did enter into a contract with Eurosport. All right, so I did a little digging on Eurosport. Eurosport is a pan-European television sports network and a subsidiary of Discovery, and it owns a wide range of rights across many sports, but generally does not bid for premium price rights such as those to major football leagues. However, in 2015, it was awarded rights to broadcast the Olympic Games from 2018 for most of Europe and 2022 for the UK and France in a deal worth 1.3 billion pounds. And let me tell you, that's a considerable amount more than if this was in US dollars. All right. So let me see, Eurosport has expanded its deal with the All England Club to show all the Wimbledon matches live in 16 additional countries. It is a 3-year deal that includes TV and digital rights. This expands their tennis portfolio to show all 4 Grand Slams. And so that's where your prize money is coming from. All right. That's where your prize money's coming from. And this is a 5-year-old article about that. Eurosport is on the verge of being the first commercial broadcaster to be allowed to broadcast live UK coverage of Wimbledon this summer. All right, that's 5 years old. All right, so they entered into that contract worth, I'm sure, billions of dollars. Even if it's just $1 billion, that's enough, more than enough, to pay these players. And then the lower ranked players, there's been controversy over the years because some of these lower ranked players, if they don't win, they lose money by participating in these tournaments. So some of the top players have gotten together to try to increase their prize money. And so certainly All England Club is bringing in the money, and it's not coming from press conferences. Okay. Again, nobody watches press conferences that I know of. You know, you might see an excerpt on, let's say, ESPN. They might show one player answering a couple of questions, but nobody sits there that I know and watches the entire press conference after the game is over. That's just garbage. And Boris Becker needs to sit down and shut up because he don't know what he's talking about. He's lying. And so, you know, again, this all started with the French Open. They could have let her skip the press conference because it was in the contract that if you skip them, you pay a $15,000 fine. But no, they wasn't content with her being willing to pay that $15,000 fine for every press conference that she missed, with a request from her that the money at least go to a mental health organization. No, they wanted to conspire with the other tournaments to ban her, and that badly backfired on them. In fact, Wimbledon put out a press release, if I can just pull up that right quick and share some information. Wimbledon put out a press release supporting Naomi Osaka. On behalf of the Grand Slams, we wish to offer Naomi Osaka our support and assistance in any way possible as she takes time away from the court. She is an exceptional athlete, and we look forward to her return as soon as she deems appropriate. Mental health is a very challenging issue which deserves our utmost attention. It's both complex and personal, as what affects one individual, Boris Becker, does not necessarily affect another. We commend Naomi for sharing in her own words the pressures and anxieties she is feeling, and we empathize with the numerous pressure tennis players may face. All right. So there you go, Boris Becker. You just sound bitter. For what? I don't know. Why are you so angry that you to the point of using cuss words and saying, where is the effing pressure and all this and that? Okay. Now your number 2 tennis player in the world is not playing tennis in Wimbledon. And do you not think their viewership is going to suffer? Do you think these networks are happy with that? They have paid billions of dollars to broadcast this tournament all over the world? No, they're not, I'm sure. So, here he's the second person behind Stephen A. Smith that claimed that tennis wouldn't exist without press conference. It's the press. Dude, be for real. Anybody that's buying that, they're not too smart. The money comes from broadcasting the games, not broadcasting press conferences. All right, this has been Scotty Reed with the Black Talk Radio News Commentary. Please continue to support the production of independent Black media and support the platform, the independent Black media platform, blacktalkradionetwork.com. You can do so by going to the website, making a donation, a tax-deductible donation to the nonprofit Black Talk Media Project. Peace and blessings to all.